Kasi pagkatapos ito, didiretso sila ng Tarlac eh.
Diretso na kagad, Tarlac.
Tatakbo sila ng Tarlac eh. I-check nila yung yung housing program dun, project. Bisighob, dumating kagabi sa bahay. Alas 11 ng gabi.
Ay, akala ko, ang mo, kayong sumabay na pupunta.
Hindi. Umalis kami dito sa Baguio. Alauna ng hapon, papunta ng Sagada.
Doon na kayo kayo.
Oo. Ilang oras ba mula Bauco to Paracedes?
Dayo sabihin natin, Bauco to Paracedes, 1 hour, bundok ko. Matuling barding kong tadaan eh. Magra-round yun ang mahahaba. Ay, dumating siya, hindi pagpapagyo ka agad.
Sabi niya ngayon, papunta siya ng Baguio.
Hindi ka mo, di ba, pumunta sa bahay mo kahapon?
Sino?
Sigot, tumawag.
Hindi, ako pumunta sa bahay niya.
Sa Bauco? Ay.
Kasi, dumating nga siya alas 11 na ng gabi, nakita ko lataan na siya eh. Tsura niya lataan na eh. Pagod na yung mama eh.
Sa bahay niya?
Oo.
Sa
Kaya, hindi ko rin nasabi sa kanya, yung sa sasakyan.
pagod.
Sabi niya nga, pupunta siya ito ng Baguio. Kaya habol niya yung mga papers.
Nakakapagod yung travel dun sa
Pero nung pabalik na kami ni mula Baguio to Sagado, mga 6 hours.
Tagal mo naman.
Hindi nag-traffic sa
Ay,
sa Abatan eh.
sa
Pero yung mula Bauco, umalis kami ng Bauco.
Good afternoon, everyone. We will start the meeting.
Nakauwi ka pala ito ng 1:30.
Please stand for the Philippine National Anthem.
Diba?
Please remain standing. For the opening prayer, may we call on Mr. Gary Lungayo of NCIP Tribal Affairs. Thank you.
Ay ukayang, ay kayaman, abagi etani, gusto handa kami, sayang sinanay, abay kapunyan, ingkayan, nanay kanantay, nanay masapuan ay stelis isay kanan, sinang kakayan, pagawisan niya, pinayan sinanikan. Ay amami, ay dawat mi, nanay niya anus na tunay, papalat mi, nang yan, ang Pangulo ng NAPSI ay tumulong silang natunay. Ipag-iyay kanan. At ang pumalaidas, paglay niya anos. Nang runa silang mangilang ulo, nang naisiye, nang dinamihan na isi sekretary, Belmontia sang kakatwana, kanda tunaya, agency ay kakatwa, amami, akin na kami, iwayan tawad ay kami, tumulong sinang ibami. Amami kasi dawan ni bakawanan tatunay basbason ni sabi na nandik kami ay anak mo ay mampakawan sinan nakabasukan na kami. Amami kasi na dawat ni iksalain niya na yagawi sa'y namnam sinanasan sa sinan tatunay iba. Ay amami, siya ng dawat niya'y ay siya ng dawat ni sinan, tatunay dawat ni nan pamati niya, sinananak buhay kay dayawan ni, ay Isu Kristo'y makwani. Amen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gary Zongayo of NCIP Tribal Affairs. So, in behalf of National Anti-Poverty Commission, headed by our Secretary Noel K. Melonco, together with Undersecretary Penelope Belmonte, and the whole family, Nasi family, we would like to welcome you on our activity, the inter-agency meeting to consolidate inputs for the creation of Cordillera Nice Terraces Development Council and Office. So let me acknowledge the participants from NEDA, which is, I think she's online right now. Ms. Marie Olga Contorium, Chief Development Specialist. May we acknowledge also from Department of Tourism, Ms. Sylvia G. Chinayo, Supervising Tourism Operations Officer. From NCIP, National Commission on Indigenous Peoples, Attorney Severino Manuel Dominguez, OIC Regional Legal Officer, together with Mr. Gary P. Tonggayaw, Private Affairs Assistant, with just a beautiful prayer. So from Department of Agriculture, Ann C. Tubaang, Agriculture 2, Ms. Veronica P. Pangasan, Senior Science Research Specialist. From DNR, Department of Environment and Natural Resources, so Ms. Linda Claire I. Pauli, Senior Ecosystem Management Specialist. And from our side, from the NAPSI, we have from my left,
Gagawin ko lang dito.
Mr. Antonio, Mr. Alfredo Antonio, our division chief from Lacanes, Local Affairs Coordinating and Monitoring Service, Ms. Malu, yes, our board secretary, Ms. Penelope Belmonte, our undersecretary.
Oy, kapabe.
And Attorney Marius Perez, our legal consultant, NASP. And the rest of us here. So, let me introduce myself. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Norian Miguel. I am the regional focal person. So, welcome.
Hoy, Papa B. Di naman.
Secretary, legal motives to give us
Yan ang hirap.
her opening here.
Yan ang hirap sa Zoom. Sinisin.
Oo,
Nagsasalita.
ang dami pumapasok.
Thank you very much, Mariel. In behalf of NAPSI's Secretary and Lead Convener, Attorney Noel Falonco, together with our colleagues from LACNAS, Director James Cesar Ventura, Division Chief Mr. Alfred Antonio, and focal person for Mr. Noriel Miguel. And from our legal service unit, Attorney Lucy Perez is also with us, and NAPSI IT Sector SR Judith Maranyas. Sa amin pong lahat ng panauhin mula po sa local government units ng NOR, at sa inyo pong lahat, isang magandang hapon sa lahat ng kasama natin dito sa interagency meeting to consolidate inputs on the proposed executive order on the creation of the Cordillera Rice Terraces Development Council and Office. We also thank the representative from MEDA, Chief Economic Development Specialist Marie Olga Rifontolo, Department of Tourism Supervising Tourism Operation Officer Ma'am Sylvia Chanayo, NCIPOIC Regional Legal Officer Attorney Severino Manuel Lubiquet, and Tribal Affairs Assistant, of course, my friend Danny Donggayo. Thank you for the prayer. And from Department of Agriculturist 2, Mayan Tubaang, and Senior Science Research Specialist Veronica Pangasan, DENR Planning Officer for Alvaro Buclay, and Senior Ecosystem Management Specialist Linda Claire Pauli. Thank you very much for joining us despite of the short notice confirming the meeting because of the postponement from our original schedule due to the typhoon. And as we would learn from Sir Alfred's presentation later on, the Cordillera Rice Terraces Development Council and Office have been subject of numerous discussions since 2018, but has remained pending due to issues that need to be agreed upon by concerned stakeholders. The basic sectors, especially the indigenous people, communities, and other partners. It is our hope that through this interagency meeting for consolidation of inputs pertaining to the Cordillera Rice Terraces rehabilitation, we would be able to effectively address these issues and arrive at agreements that would benefit IP Cordi. While we may have taken some time to have this initiative for Cordillera to take effect, let us not lose perseverance and become frustrated. Instead, let us remain firm in our efforts to achieve our fourfold objectives. We have 4 objectives. First is the biophysical development by increasing the area of indigenous forests by 10% by 2023. Second is agricultural and economic development goal, which include increasing the productivity of the land by 20% and introducing technology in order to decrease production costs by 20%. Third is socio-cultural development goal of upgrading indigenous knowledge to achieve sustainable food security. And the last one is the strategic support measure, goal of establishing the Cordillera Terraces Office that has budget allocation that involves the active and inclusive participation of the indigenous peoples' organization in policy formulation. We will hear the inputs from concerned government agencies consulted and engaged by NAPSI, including the Department of Agriculture in CAR and the NCIP Regional Office. the Regional Development Council of CAR, DENR also, and of course NEDA for the purpose of formulating the executive order that shall establish the Cordillera Rice Terraces Rehabilitation Council and Office. With the help and support of our partner agency, the creation of the Cordillera Rice Terraces Development Council and Office will ensure the sustainable and inclusive growth in the region.
Tawag ko sila.
Let us commit ourselves to the instruments by which the people of CAR will be able to fulfill the goals that they themselves identified and formulated, which is anchored on the preservation of the indigenous cultural heritage, protection of the natural resources of the region, and the inclusive development of the Cordillera Rice Terraces. Again, our heartfelt gratitude for your cooperation and participation sa lahat po ng ating mga kasamahan mula po sa iba't ibang ahensya ng gobyerno. Mapalad po tayo sa pagkakataong tayo makapaglingkod sa ating mga kababayan na mahihirap. Lalo ngayon dito po sa kabuuan ng CAR, nandito po ang ating pong pinag-iingatan, ang indigenous people sector na kailangan bigyang pansin, bigyang pagpapahalaga at importansya. Sapagkat naniniwala po ako na talagang pagdating sa usapin ng mga IP, ito po ay napakaseryoso at sensitibo dahil kailangan po nating lamnamin at bigyang pansin at pagpapahalaga ang pagkilala po sa kanilang pong kultura na hindi po nagagawa ng iba. And we're so blessed and happy that meron tayong pagkakataon to help them. Habang nangirito po tayo, naglilingkod sa ating po kung saan man tayong ahensya ng gobyerno, kasi po marami naman pong gusto talagang tumulong, makiisa, ngunit walang pagkakataon sapagkat hindi naman po sila kasama o napapabilang sa mga ahensyang mayroong pagkakataon makapaglingkod tulad po na sa atin. Let us take advantage of our position to do what is right now. Lalong-lalo na po sa panahon ng pandemya, ako po'y naniniwala na mas lalo natin dapat ipakita, ipadama at ihatid ang kalinang dapat at nararapat sa ating pong mga kababayan mula po sa IT sector. Again, salamat and may God bless us all. And please, huwag po tayong makalimot na magpahanggang ngayon, nandito pa rin po ang pandemya, we need to take care of ourselves. Importante ang kalusugan so we can help more people and we can serve more. Dagan salamat. Thank you very much. God bless us all.
Thank you very much, Ms. Penelope Del Monte, for your speech, the opening remarks. So, we will proceed now for the objectives of the meeting. So, for the objectives of the meeting, we are going to discuss the NAPSI mandates. So, next slide, please. So, the National Anti-Poverty Commission and its mandate. So, the commission. So, under the National Anti-Poverty Commission was created by the Virtue of Republic Act, RA 8425, otherwise known as the Social Reform and Poverty Alleviation Act, which took effect on June 30, 1998. So, ito po yung birthday namin sa National Anti-Poverty Commission. So, under ng Republic Act, RA 8425. Next slide, please. So, yung mandate ng NAPSI, so, to act as the coordinating and advisory body that exercises oversight function in implementing the SRA and ensure that it is incorporated into the formulation of national, regional, sub-regional, and local development plans. So, ito po siya. So, to act, and then another one is to institutionalize basic sector and NGO participation managing the SRA cycle. Next slide, please. To develop microfinance, ito po yung sa PDTF namin, yung aming People's Development Trust Fund. To strengthen LGUs so they can incorporate the SRA in their local development efforts. And the organization. Just going through with the organization, the National Anti-Poverty Commission is headed by the chair, no other than the President of the Philippines, President Rodrigo Duterte. So, it's assisted by two vice chair persons from the government sector and the basic sectors. So from the, next slide please. From the government sector, Secretary Carlos Morales, together with the 25 heads of NDAs, 4 presidents of the league's members, and under the basic sectors, Roberto Alerosa, Vice Chairperson, together with the sectoral representatives of the 14 basic sectors members po yan. Next slide. Now for the powers and functions po natin. Just to run through lang po, we have the power also to coordinate with different national and local government agencies. Doon po pumapasok yung powers and functions natin po. Then we have also the power to coordinate with local government units. Next slide please. Then recommend policy and other measures to ensure the responsive implementation of the commitments under the SRA. Ensure meaningful representation and active participation of the basic sectors. Kami po tayo dito na SIT, one of the basic sectors po natin. Oversee, monitor, and recommend measures to ensure the effective formulation, implementation, and evaluation of policies, programs, and resources allocation, and management of social reform and poverty alleviation programs. So we have also this kind of powers and functions. Other powers and functions, advocate for the mobilization of funds by the national and local governments to finance social reform and poverty alleviation programs and capability building activities of people's organization, yung impact building kung ginagawa namin from time to time. Provide financial and non-financial incentives to local government units with counterpart resources for the implementation of social reform and poverty alleviation programs. And also we have this, one of the powers and functions is to submit an annual report to Congress. Yan po yung Then, ito po yung, I belong to this service, the Local Affairs Coordinating Monitoring Service. Ito po yung aming mandato. Promotes the integration of the national poverty reduction strategies and thrust into the policies, programs, and systems, mechanisms of regional government structures and local government units, initiates, strengthens, and sustains the convergence mechanism at the local level in accordance with the convergence policy stipulated under Republic Act 8425. Yun po siya. So, we're going to proceed to background of the meeting. Bakit po tayo may IP4D? Itong convergence na ginagawa natin. It all started po during the time in the year 2017 po. Nagkaroon po sila ng conceptualization pa lang ito. IP4D or the convergence on the conservation and rehabilitation of the Cordillera Rice Terraces was started last quarter of 2017 in Baguio City. So this was the beginning. In November 2018, a conference on the presentation of the IP4D development plan was presented in Banawe Hotel in Bugao. Then, after that, project was dormant for the whole year of 2019. Then last January of 2020, so we initiated in Lakimes and facilitated a meeting entitled Revisiting IP4D and its Development Plan, held in the Hotel Venice session in Baguio City. Then after the January 2020, next slide please. We had several meetings from the NCIP. We call it the leveling up meeting. Wala po dito, hindi siya nakasulat. So we conducted that last July 2020 for the leveling up meeting. And we also reconnect to the Bauco, municipality of Bauco, about this issue of IP4D, just in case we can also try to, address the problem about the rehabilitation of their own rice terraces. So, in January 2021, we submitted the executive order, the draft executive order for the creation of Cordillera Rice Terraces Development Authority and Office, and transmitted to the NAMC, COSEC, this is the Office of the Secretary for Legal Inputs in July 2021. Then after that, in August 2021, NAPSI LSU, the Legal Service Unit, advised NAPSI Lakimes that the EU should take into consideration the powers of the President under the Administrative Order AO of 1987. So under the powers of the President, hindi siya pwede mag-create. So we need to do something about, about the draft executive order. Then, NAPSI Lakimes conducted exploratory meetings with selected regional line agencies on September. Yun po yung ginawa natin nung last September 2 to 4 or 2 to 3 ang exploratory meetings with different regional line agencies. Next slide, please. Then the objectives of the meeting. So we have 3 objectives. So number 1, make the CAR regional line agencies aware of the existence of the IP coordinate as a convergent platform in the CAR and have them understand the major components of the draft IP coordinate development plan 2019 to 2023. So ito po yung inaano namin sa inyo. We would like to share with you our data about this IP coordinate development plan na we started about this way back 2018. That we hope we can continue the rehabilitation and conservation of the Cordillera rice terraces through the creation of the council and the establishment of the office. So number 2, present the synthesized inputs obtained from the interviews with selected government agencies in CAR in connection with the proposed draft executive order to create po yung CRT-DC, so may development council and then office. So yung synthesized inputs, ito na po yung ginagawa natin. So, number 3, come to an agreement on how to proceed with the proposal of creating the council and the office. Yan po. So, tatlo lang po siya, 3 objectives that we hope we can have a productive and successful meeting for today. Next slide. So, expected outputs. Number 1, highlights and documentation of the meeting. Number 2, agreements with the line agencies on immediate steps and the ways forward. Yan po. Next slide. So for the program flow, ito po yung ano na ginawa natin. We sent it out siguro 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. So 11:30 to 8, 11:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. arrival and registration. So 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. lunch. So we had the lunch already. And 1 p.m. to 1:15 p.m. preliminaries, we have done already the preliminaries. 1:15 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. welcome message from Yusek Penelope Stephen Monse. 1:30 p.m. to 1:40 p.m. objectives of the meeting now ongoing to be presented by me, Dorian Miguel, Regional Focal Person of CAR. 1:40 p.m. to 2 p.m. background of the activity. Presentation of the gist of the IP Coordinate Development Plan 2019-2023 to be presented by Mr. Alfredo Antonio, Division Chief, LCCD, Lakimes, NAPSI. Then 2 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. a policy document drafted prelude to the conduct of the exploratory meetings with the line agencies in the Cordillera Administrative Region and overview to be presented by Attorney Bruce Perez, Consultant, Office of the NAPSI Secretary, Legal Service Unit, NAPSI. Next slide. 2:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. consolidated presentation of the inputs of the line agencies on NAPSI's proposal, facilitating the process and required steps to move forward, to be presented by Alfredo Antonio, Division Chief of LCCD, Lakimes, NAPSI. 3 p.m. to 3:45 p.m. So we're going to have a working break, open discussion na po tayo dito. So, to be presented by me. 3:45 p.m. to 4 p.m. summary and synthesis of discussion. So we're going to summarize whatever we have discussed during the working break, open discussion. Then 4 p.m. to 4:15 p.m. Reaction from the car line agencies. Moving forward,
Abutin pala ng
representative from the NEDA car, which is Miss Olga, Marie Olga, I hope you're there. Miss Olga, Marie Olga Di Contorum. And then lastly, 4:15 p.m. to 4:30, closing remarks and awarding of certificates of appreciation to be presented or to be awarded by Yusek Canelo Del Monte. And the closing message will be delivered from the Office of the Director of LACMS, Director James Cesar Ventura, to be delivered by Ms. Malu, the Board Secretary of National Anti-Poverty Commission. So that will be all for the flow of the program. Next slide, please. Now, may we call on Mr. Alfredo Antonio for the presentation of background of the activity. Thank you very much.
Again, magandang hapon. This is a quick presentation just to provide everyone with the background why we're doing this activity. So, actually, I remembered when we had the interview with the Department of Agriculture. So, Director Walse was saying they used to refer to this document, no? Yung IP Code Development Plan. Tapos nalaman niya na hindi pa naman talaga siya better, kumbaga. So this is the a copy of the development plan.
Na?
It's quite a thick document. And we're going to give the delegate one copy before we leave, no? Siguro dito i-email naman namin.
Cultural market. Last thing na yun.
So, I had the convergence division of the LACMS. So, technically what we do, we pull resources from different various government agencies and other stakeholders. So, we can create a convergence platform and so we can identify the poverty-related concerns in a province or in the region. So right now, we have one in Southern Ilocos, we call it Magnificent Magic 7. It's composed by 7 municipalities, and the issue is agri-ecotourism. So for the car,
Bye-bye.
we're also trying to